What's up, guys? This is Showtime's Fight For. I'm your boy Josh Showtime. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment and all that good stuff. Thank you guys for watching as always. I know I've been gone for a couple weeks and it's like, where was he? Well, I got hitched. So I'm officially married and I was on vacation. So I took a good couple weeks off and it was amazing. So shout out to your boy, shout out to my wife and all that good stuff. Now, I missed so much stuff while I was out, okay? I had an amazing time, but I was trying to keep up as much but as little as I possibly can. And I was able to catch some of the fights, but then I had to go home and watch the rest of the fights. So many things happened and I have to separate them because I can't talk about every single one, because then I'll be talking for basically an hour. So this conversation is strictly gonna be about UFC 281. Now, I did do a preview before I left and I was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like that wasn't the best effort that I've done before. I was right about some, but I was wrong about a few. And I was a little disappointed. And we'll just go ahead. We'll just get into it. All right. So first things first. Brad Riddle. I'm happy now to hear that he's taking time off because man, he needs it. Dude's top 10. And I mean top 15, and he was honestly one of the up and comers, and now he's on this losing streak and he's getting finished. It's not like he's just losing, he's getting submitted. And you know, I think the best bet when you're still young and you know you're losing is to take time away. There's no need to get right back into it because you don't want to keep going down this downward spiral. And I think Renata looked really good and everybody loved his post-fight interview or whatever. I'm not the type of person that gets super hyped off that kind of stuff. I don't care, but he looked good. And I mean, you know, also he did look good fighting RDA for a person that came in last minute. So who knows, he might be hitting his stride as well. So I mean, it's such a talent-rich division. There's so many dogs, man. Like it's too many to even keep up at times. That's why, once again, when Oliveira was king, I'm like, bro, we know he's gonna eventually lose. Like Islam is eventually gonna lose. It's too many good guys, and you have to be perfect pretty much every single night to be able to keep your belt at that division. So, you know, it is what it is. Now, Dan Hooker, I was completely wrong about. I thought he was gonna be on his way out. Looked good. I mean, it was a quick fight, good knockout or TKO, whatever you wanna call it. And I mean, what more to say? There's nothing to make you say that he's grown or he's gotten better, but he put on a good fight and now he's surviving. But he's still what, like 2-5, 2-4 in his last fights? Like last 5 fights? I mean, so he got a ways to go, man, to even be considered close to a contender, in my opinion. He's a dangerous guy, we know this, but I mean, we also know that his chin isn't the greatest and his submission defense isn't the greatest. So we will see, TBD. The next one is the sad one. Sad. However, it should have been predictable, but I was trying to be it. I was trying to ride with Frankie. I was trying, but yeah, man, it's time. It's time, man. MMA is not basketball. It's not football, and it's not one of these sports where you're past your prime and you can like go against these young cats and still thrive, man. It's almost impossible. It's not to say that it is impossible. There's people who have done it, but barely people have done it. I mean, we've seen it with Anderson Silva. We've seen it now slowly with Dominic Cruz. Frankie Edgar is a next man up. We've seen it with Chuck Liddell. There's so many names you can do with these legends who stayed in the game too far and they just start getting picked apart. Frankie's that guy. We know Frankie, when he started, you still punch Frankie. You could hurt Frankie, you could rock Frankie, but you wouldn't knock him out. Now, his chin is completely gone. So now when you hit him, you don't rock him anymore, you just knock him out. So I should have seen it, and at the end of the day, you know, that's the end of his career. Like, it's not no Kobe situation where you can throw Kobe the ball 30 times and he can get up like 40 shots and then score 60 against the young cats. You're not getting that. Sorry, this is MMA. It's too many variables to lose. So unfortunately, Frankie caught that L. But at the end of the day, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. The guy, I mean, we already know when it comes to Frankie's legacy, man. Like one of the greatest comeback stories ever when it comes to the Gray Maynard fights. And I mean, he's the real life Rocky in my opinion, like real life Rocky. And to be him to also win the 155-pound division while not even having to cut weight is remarkable. 155 has always been stacked, even when Frankie was in his prime. And he beat BJ Penn, who was at his prime. So I mean, he's a legend of legends, and he's my top 15 greatest fighters ever. So I mean, I enjoyed watching every single fight that you've had. It sucks that it ended that way, but I mean, hey, at the end of the day, this is the young man's sport. So shout out also to Chris Gutierrez on honestly a phenomenal dub, because that was flawless. Now, let's go into the 3 fights that everybody really wanted to see and everybody case. Oh, side note, this is probably one of the best pay-per-view cards of the year, actually. I'm mad. I was like, dang, the time that I missed one freaking fight card this entire year, and that would be one of the best cards of the year. There was nothing but finishes. Like, it was crazy. Now, Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, we already knew it was gonna be straight bangers. I thought it was gonna be over in the first round. Somehow made it to the third round. And it made it to the third round strictly because Michael Chandler did what Michael Chandler should have done in honestly a few of his fights, which is use his wrestling. He's a D1 wrestler. I believe he's also an All-American. He's a very powerful wrestler. When he gets those doubles, it's a wrap. There's nothing really you can do. So the fact that he finally started to use it when he got pieced up by Dustin, because it didn't take a rocket science to know that Michael Chandler was going to get dropped, he was going to get hurt, and Dustin Poirier was going to be the person that was going to beat the hell out of him. That happened in the first. Now, granted, Michael Chandler definitely, landed some good blows, which he expected, because once again, I told you, Dustin Poirier does not do well striking versus explosive, quick, twitchy fighters. Michael Chandler is that. So I knew he was going to catch him. I just thought Dustin's chin would be able to withstand it, which it did. And Michael Chandler started to get pieced up. Second round, he did a great job and he adjusted his game plan, started using his wrestling. And yes, he did cheat. But here's the thing, a lot of fighters cheat. They used to call it the veteran way. Like when veterans would do things that we know are illegal, but they get away with it. So you're not about to hear me sit here and cry, oh, he cheated, this, that, and third. A lot of your favorite fighters cheat in fights, man. I'm sorry. So unless they're doing PEDs, I personally don't care. Like, it is what it is. Did he get caught? Oh, he didn't? That's the ref's fault. So yeah, at the end of the day, Michael Chandler, won the second round. On third round, I'm like, all right, let's see how this goes. He started using wrestling again. However, Michael Chandler's gas tank is an issue. And the older you get, your gas tank ain't gonna get any better. Michael Chandler's gas tank was trash, and he was tired in that third round. And I mean, granted, when you exert so much energy and you use so much of your quick twitches, it's gonna happen. So I'm not too shocked that he was so tired in the third. And eventually Dustin Poirier took his back and submitted him. Great fight, one of the best fights of the year. And I think Dustin, obviously, I think he needs to start looking for these younger guys. I know he's trying to look for money fights now, but my thing is like, bro, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a champion, or do you just want money fights? I feel like that's the line that we need to get with Dustin, because Dustin, it's weird. Like, it's like he wants these money fights just to make money. He wants to fight Conor. He wants to fight Conor again, and this, that, and the third. And then it's like, no, but I'm the uncrowned champ. I want my belt. All right, well, bro, there's these young lions coming that you need to fight, because these guys are now in the top 5, top 6 that you need to fight. You don't want to fight Beneil Dariush. Why? He's next in line. Why would you not want to fight him? Why would you not want to fight Izzy? Why would you not want to fight these guys? So it's weird, and Dustin's not the type to duck, so he's not pumped. I know he's not. But it's one of these, like, pick your battles. Which one do you want? Do you really want to just fight the Nate Diaz's, or do you want to fight the up-and-comers and get to the belt and fight Islam? Or maybe you don't want to fight Islam because he already fought Habib and he doesn't want to deal with that again. Who knows? I don't know. But, Michael Chandler, at the end of the day, man, it's one of those, you're talented enough to be champion, but your game plan and your fight IQ, in my opinion, are not good enough for you to be a champion. So I think right now is the point where you just need to make money fights. Fight Justin Gaethje, or not Justin Gaethje, I'm sorry. Fight Conor McGregor. Fight like these big guys that are like big name, that like to strike and like to just throw down. And that's, you probably got a couple fights left in your career probably before you want to retire, raise your black baby. But either way, like, that's probably the route that you need to go, because I don't see you winning a belt. There's these, once again, these young and up-and-comer 155ers are here. They're here now. They're not even, realistically, they're not even up-and-coming anymore. They're here. They game. Now, the championship fights. We got Carla Esparza versus Weili Zhang. I said Weili Zhang, sorry. Zhang Weili. That fight, I picked the right person. All right, let's first of all, this is a 2-fight streak, by the way. I said Dustin was gonna win, and I also said Weili was gonna win. I didn't think she was gonna win that cleanly, unless it was gonna be like a first round knockout. But bruh, she won pretty much every phase of that fight. She won the grappling. She won the stand-up easily. We knew that was gonna happen. And Carla didn't really have a response for her. And it's kind of weird that Carla, her career is kind of repeated itself. She wins the championship, and she gets dominated in the second fight when she tries to defend her belt. At the end of the day, we all knew Weili was the better fighter. This isn't surprising. So, and not to mention that Weili's gotten better. She is a better fighter than she was 2 years ago. And that's scary for the division. We don't know if she's still good enough to beat Rose. And I think, in my opinion, that's the only hurdle at 115 that she has, is to beat Thug Rose. But that's a fight I would definitely love to see down the road. I think Rose needs to win a couple, maybe 1 or 2 fights. And then I would love to see that fight again. But it's just, she's phenomenal. Carla is back to the drawing board, but I'm not interested in seeing her fight Weili. That was pretty dominant. And you got beat in your area of expertise. And that was the only way that you could beat her. And you lost that route. I'm not interested, sorry. So, and if you want to call it a career, also, you're a 2-time champion. So, if you made enough money, you just got married. And also, side note, I have to say this. I get so sick of I like MMA Twitter, but then at the same time, I get annoyed by it. Because they just hate for no reason. If you don't like Carla, go ahead and say you don't like Carla. But the fact that people want to poo-poo on her because she wore her belt on her wedding day or whatever and call her corny, okay, whatever. What have you accomplished? That was her dream. And now she, accomplished her dream right before she married the man of her dreams. And she wants to have both of them with her. Who cares? It's not a big deal. If you wouldn't do it, okay. But you also don't have an opportunity to because you ain't got no championships. So I don't have no problem with a person doing that. If it meant that much, TJ did it. Other fighters are gonna do it too. Who cares? It means that much to them in their life. It changed their life. She could feed her family. She probably could feed her husband too off that belt. So I don't blame it. So now the last fight I gotta talk about, and once again, this is going long, I know. And that is Israel versus Alex Pereira. I was right to an extent, all right? I said that Izzy was gonna win. I said that Izzy was gonna be able to piece him up, and I thought that even with the smaller gloves, he would be able to hurt him. All that happened. All of it happened. And if there was literally 30 more seconds in that round, we would be hearing and still. But that ain't the way it works, so it is what it is. Alex Pereira is a problem. That hook is a problem. And at the end of the day, man, the fact that you have to worry every single second with a guy like Alex is a problem. His wrestling is not good, we know this. But standing up with him is an issue. Every time you're standing up with this man, you might get knocked out. That is terrifying. He's one of the most terrifying guys out right now. So, congrats to him. I personally didn't like the stoppage. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I think that it could have went a little longer. Do I think that it would have changed the results? No. Honestly, I think Alex would have won. But yet and still, I think that you could have gave him a couple shots. It's a title fight, man. Izzy's one of those guys. Yeah, I know you don't want a Muhammad Ali situation, want these guys taking unnecessary damage, but this is the championship. Championship fights, I take exception to the rule. And at the end of the day, these guys want to get slept, let them get slept. So, it is what it is. Izzy shouldn't have let himself get hurt, but he got hurt in his calf that related to him not being able to move around as well as you normally do. But, I would love to see a rematch. I think that should be the next step. Izzy's been a long enough champ. He's defended his belts enough. And at the end of the day, it was a fight that Izzy was winning pretty cleanly. So I feel like you do, I ain't gonna say owe him, but you should definitely give him the respect of a champion to, get his title back. And if he loses again, that's 0-4. Never book that fight again. If he loses again, never book the fight again. I'm not interested. But this fight, I am interested in a rematch for, an MMA bout. But as always, I would love to hear what you guys think. Sorry, once again, I'm a couple weeks late, but at the end of the day, I gotta give you my opinion on some big cards. So as always, man, follow me at all social medias, at Papa Showtime, Josh Showtime, whichever one you find. And as always, man, make sure y'all stay blessed.